Welcome back. Joining us today we have Steve Kerridge, Alan Mortlock, Colin Payne, Reece, Rowell and Geoff Watts.
Sort of snuck in on the end there.
Yeah, snuck in on the end there. So, guys, I know some of your histories, but I don't know all of your histories. Now, my history was on the mat. I started on the mat. I know yours was as well, Colin. I know yours was, Steve. How do you see the way martial arts has gone for you personally, from your mat days onto various progressions? Steve, what about you?
I think it's more rounded, isn't it? It's more rounded. You know, you've got different types of martial arts that have all blended together. But we was into that anyway. Back in the 70s, we was into that because of Bruce Lee. You know, it was like that influence, you know, a bit of this and a bit of that. But back then, it was all traditional karate, so you couldn't really do that in the dojo, as they called it then, could you really? Because you get frowned upon.
Absolutely.
So we'd go and put gloves on out the back garden, punching crap out of each other, you know, because we'd seen it, Bruce Lee do it or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So it was just like a natural progression, really. But now, the things they're doing now, we were sort of doing back then, but less organised. Maybe that's, you know, way of putting it.
Colin, I know you started on the mat, didn't you? You competed first on a matted area.
Yeah, I've got a similar background to Steve. I mean, back then there was, we had karate, kung fu, judo, and a bit of jiu-jitsu and taekwondo was about. Now, of course, I can't even begin to count the number of styles there are now. And obviously, people can. And back in those days, we didn't have a lot of choice, did we? I can remember as a kid walking sort of 4 or 5 miles to the club to train, or the bus. But now, of course, people have got places on their doorstep, and you can just. I think they probably got too much choice.
Yeah.
You know, they can hop about from doing one thing to the other. I think the difference, without wishing to talk about the old school, is that back then if we got to something, we stuck it, and we went through it, and we didn't stop.
You didn't swap, did you?
And we didn't swap.
Because you wouldn't be allowed.
I think the UFC is a good example, because if you look when that first started, it was like karate versus judo versus wrestling. Now a UFC fighters most of them are all pretty much rounded.
Yeah.
They've got their speciality departments, but they're pretty much rounded, aren't they?
You walked in a boxing gym, they wouldn't let you.
No.
You just turned around and said you was
When we done an exhibition at Manor Park Boxing Club back in, blimey, it must have been late 70s.
Yeah.
And it was like full contact. It didn't even call kickboxing, it was full contact karate. And all the old boys sitting there going, "God, sod all that kicking." And they're all like this, you know what I mean? Like tough as old boots, but like, you know, they're like, "Oh, sod all that," you know.
They didn't get kicks. Yeah,
because we were kicking each other and
didn't understand.
No, I didn't understand it, but.
What about you, Alan? What's your background?
Well, funny enough, the background started with the Bruce Lee days, and from watching the films of Bruce Lee, I started in the system right at the start, Wadaru Karate, which I think everybody did. Moved on to Goju Karate, but I did flit about. But I ended up staying with a guy called Phil Lang, and he had a system called Bushido, which I think, looking back, was really ahead of its time. I was with him for about 3 or 4 years, and that was full contact. Like Steve said, full contact karate. The first time I ever saw it was at the Seymour Hall in 1980, probably just before my son was born, 85. And then you had all the guys from Birmingham, Greg Wallace, and all the names, Steve Babs, that was there fighting on the podium. And that gave me the buzz. And I'd already done the Bushido, and I went to train with a guy called Cole Nelson, who was one of...
I was training with Cole Nelson.
He was one of Ticky Donovan's second hand, Alan Davis.
Yeah.
Stayed with it for a couple of years, and was training for fights, but never competed because of my lifestyle that I was living at the time. Kind of never permitted it. Got always up to getting ready to compete, I remember, and then I'd go on the missing list like as a young guy and partying, and I've always found that I regretted it, and that's why I took to fighting in the cage at 55 years old to kind of complete what I hadn't finished when I was a young man. But so I'd studied quite a few different things, but Bushido was the main thing, and every Friday I remember they used to bring other clubs and we'd fight full contact with the fingerless gloves, Bruce Lee gloves. So that was kind of my background. Yeah.
So Reece, you've got a slightly different background, because I guess you've come in at kickboxing rather than karate first. But I'm only guessing, correct me if I'm wrong.
It was actually karate first.
Oh, okay.
I did start training with Steve. He had a karate club just down the road from here. Then it progressed onto full contact kickboxing, kicks above the waist and now it's more low kick and K1 style of fighting. And doing
Like, so I was running 2 clubs. I was doing the kickboxing, which started sort of early 80s, and then I was teaching like a freestyle karate because I didn't want to get involved in any politics, any style. I come from Kyokushinkai and Ishinryu and everything else, you know. So, and that's when Reece come along, a 5-year-old kid. So
Yeah, so it's good. I like that you've got a grounding in classical, if you like, a classical martial art. I didn't realise. I thought you'd come straight in with Steve as a kickboxing student.
No, yeah, it was for karate, and yeah, I enjoyed the karate. When I progressed onto the kickboxing, and like I said, the K1 style, which I really do enjoy as well.
So these days we see a lot of cage events as well as ring events. What are your thoughts about moving stand-up martial arts into the cage? I mean, we see lots of it, don't we, wherever we go and film?
All the time.
It seems like a fairly easy transition to me, and the cage seems like a good fight arena. What do you think, Lacey?
I do, and I think you always get guys who step into the cage who have pretty much always been on a mat before. And I think sometimes it's really obvious, that crossover, that you get guys who are fighting in the cage. Maybe they're doing MMA, but they've fought in karate before. I think sometimes it's quite obvious.
I think it's more blended now, as I was saying earlier, because years ago you had that prejudice. No, I'm traditional karate, or I'm traditional kung fu, or I'm a judo player, or whatever. Now you can't really say things like that, really, unless you are just into that traditional martial art. You can't really say that. I mean, if you're going to fight, you've got to be able to adapt to whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're in a ring or a
favour
cage.
certain things. So if you're a groundwork, you like your groundwork.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to favour. If you like stand-up striking, that's what you're going to favour.
Well, look at George St. Pierre. I was watching a documentary the other week about him, Takedown it's called, and he's talking about. He said, "I'm not particularly good at. I don't actually excel at any particular discipline, but I'm good at all of them.
Yeah, just
So he's
good
all rounded.
bits.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's rounded. So
I think what I learned was that I trained for 3 years in the MMA, and then when I competed, I intended to keep it standing, and it hit the floor straight away. So, like you've said, and Steve said, lucky I'd done my jiu-jitsu, and I'd done what I had to do with my wrestling, and it just spins out in that. It doesn't matter. I think about it. It's good if you're a good striker, you get took down, you're bang in trouble, and if the guy that can't take you down, you get into him with some stand-up, it could be just changes like that.
We've seen lots of examples of that.
What?
Yeah, you're controlling it.
You know, it's 5-minute rounds, and like when I was sparring 6-minute rounds with boxers,
Same thing.
and it was like the training was phenomenal, but it can go from one direction to the other.
Well, that was like the karate, wasn't it? When I first started doing we had like full contact training, Alan Davis, on a Sunday, and I went along. I was like 14, 15 years old, and all these people in these fully grown men, really. And I come out there, my head felt it was out here. I've been punched around and I've been rattled around. You know what I mean? Because I was used to just sort of like no contact as such. Although saying that, you used to get more immediate injuries in karate, like teeth would be going out and broken fingers. You know.
You had shin guards, did you?
We did
You know what I mean?
No, he didn't wear shin guards. You couldn't buy shin guards. They weren't available.
No.
Colin, what were you going to say? You were going to
I mean, obviously, with regards to the styles in the gym, as you saw in the cage, for me, certain stand-up styles work better in the ring than they do in the cage. I think full contact karate works better in the ring. But I think K1 in the cage, I mean, we've done quite a few other events of those, and that's worked really, really well as well. You lose the element of the use of the ropes and the corners, etc., which, from a boxing perspective, I kind of like to see. But the Thai boxing in K1, I think, works in the cage.
Yeah, which is a bit strange in a way, because I don't know, I've never taught or trained Thai, but I imagine that a lot of the tactical stuff in Thai is about corner work, getting people in the corner. And
I've been to Thailand.
Obviously, that's not
for many years. Been going to Thailand, about 15 years back and forth to Thailand, and so I've trained with them out there a lot. But I don't class myself as a Thai boxing instructor or anything. But what I found I'd watch what they're doing, and I'd take bits of what they're doing to teach what I'm doing, because certain elements would fit in. But if you look at a Thai boxing match, a traditional sort of a Muay Thai match, it starts off quite slow and gradually like snowballs. So by the say 5th round or whatever they're fighting under, they're going hell for leather, smashing each other around the face with elbows and what else. Where it starts off with with the music, they've got that music builds up, especially if you go somewhere like Lumpini or somewhere in Bangkok, you see that, and
I think
pretty brutal. But it's with the K1, it's from the off, crash bang wallop. it's more aggressive.
Short rounds.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you have Muay Thai in a cage, they don't even play the music. So
no, they can't.
You get this thing where they say it's Thai boxing.
It slows it down too much.
Yeah, and you get the traditionalists who say, well, it can't be Thai boxing because it's not 5 rounds and you're not playing the music.
It's not. It's not. I mean, unless they're doing it with the traditional music, it ain't. It is, but it ain't. It depends what way you look at it. But I think that in the cages, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's the person doing it. It doesn't matter what the style. It's the person doing it. It's an individual thing. Yeah.
It's the individual.
If you've got Ramon Decker and put him in a ring or a cage, you'd still be smashing the head out of someone. It is a fighter.
I don't know what you guys think, but I think that when you step inside a cage, I mean, I've never fought inside a cage, fought inside a ring lots, but never inside a cage. But I've stood inside a cage to film, and I think the atmosphere is completely different when you're a fighter inside a cage to what it is when you're a fighter inside a ring. I just think it's a different feel.
It can favour the more elusive fighter as well. You get someone who wants to come forward and force the pace, and someone can keep moving around.
You've fought in both, haven't you?
You can't go with someone. It's harder on that way.
Well, he's recently fought in the KT MMA, which is something they brought around where it's 2 5-minute rounds, and the first round is K1 but with elbows.
Yeah.
So it's not K1, but it's K1 but with elbows.
Yeah.
The second round is anything. Well, not
MMA rules.
Yeah.
It's global MMA rules.
Yeah.
Things like so
and
he needs to head on the floor and things like that.
And the last one he fought was a fella from Holland, wasn't it? Who had 40-50 professional fights. Reece kicked the crap out of him in the first round. He could just about stand the fella. But what's going through his mind is that if I wear myself out, if I don't stop this fella, come to the second round, I'm poggered.
Yeah.
Because now I'm on the floor. So you've got to have a certain amount in reserve. So it's like, how do you spend your money?
How did the second round go?
You got poggered.
We didn't want to go there.
Yeah, that's the trouble.
He's had a couple of them bouts, and he's only had about 6 lessons in it. He's done really, really well. And the fact that he's actually got in there.
Yeah,
and most fighters going, I ain't doing that. He's just said, I'll do it.
First opponent I fought was an American fella, and he's fighting on UFC.
Yeah, Cody
Fister. He's had about 3 or 4.
Been in UFC.
now.
So that's a level he's fought at.
Absolutely.
It's a high level, isn't it?
Good level.
Yeah.
Achievement on its own.
But once
in
again,
that ring, innit,
But once again, Cody Fister, first round, he was beating the crap out of him. But if they can survive that first round, then they're in there. But this. So the point I'm trying to make is, it doesn't matter whether it's this rule, that rule, whatever. It's the fighter in there.
Absolutely, and from what you've said, the fighter who can adapt the rules that are allowed.
Well, look at Borkow recently. He's been fighting in China, but he's been fighting sort of modified type of K1 rules, I think. So he can't do his elbows, can't do his clinch. So some of his best stuff is taken away from him.
Yeah.
So how many people that you must know used to train in a gym, but come fight night they'd get in a ring, completely different.
Absolutely.
Like back in the first lot of full contact days, people would train for 6-8 weeks or whatever, and then get in the ring and it would be alien to them. And if you don't have any boxing experience.
Well, look at the first show Alan put on. We were supposed to be fighting on it.
Probably not cracked ribs.
But he had Nigel Benn on his first show. Nigel Benn fought on the show, fought Pat O'Keefe, And Nigel had come from an army boxing background and an amateur background.
Nigel Benn and Pat O'Keefe, what a bat.
Did you ever see it?
I didn't see that bat, but I saw Pat O'Keefe fight loads of times.
What I'd done there was, it was the first ever show, and I remember that I went down to Alan Davis's club with Steve, and I don't think Jeffrey was there, he was at Stratford, I think. And I took all their names.
Nigel Benn was training there with us, wasn't he, for a while, wasn't he?
That's
doing
right.
A bit there,
And Alan Davis, he said to me, I've got a guy, he said he's going to be real good, called Nigel Benn. He said
Phil Shields as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Phil Shields,
And he said, he's got boxing background, but no kickboxing as such. He done, what's his name? What Cam did.
Wushu Kwan or something.
Wushu Kwan, he done a bit of that. And I went and met Nigel, But what I wanted to do, because I knew he was going to be a tough fighter, is I looked around at the kickboxing or the full contact karate, and Pat O'Keefe was the middleweight champion for the PKA professional them days, and we made the fight happen, and it kind of went down in kickboxing history or full contact karate, and that was the first show, and Steve was due to fight on it, and like I say, cracked his ribs and what have you in sparring. But yeah, we had a full house that first night at the Duke's Hall in Romford, so we did that. But I wanted to get to York Hall quick, and on the third show we hit the York Hall Bethnal Green, and we stayed there for a long while.
You fought Fatiga, wasn't it?
Yeah, I fought Fatiga.
Yeah, Robbie Fatiga.
Nigel Benn fought the Thai boxer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not the Thai boxer.
That was a funny story, because Nigel Benn had sold 100 tickets, and tickets in them days were fibres, and the guy that he was due to fight from Birmingham never showed. So Owen
Cumry.
Owen Cumry. So on the day I had to really try to get this match on, and I went up to a guy, his name was Steve Cross, and he was a Thai boxer.
He was light heavyweight.
Yeah, and I said,
heavier.
he was 80 odd kilos, Ben was 75, and this guy was about 82, 83, and I said to him, listen, we need you to fight. I said, this Nigel Benn, it was Ben's second fight. And he went to me, looked at me, this guy, and he went, it's got to be Thai rules. So I went up to Nigel, who I got to know quite well, and I went, Nigel, it's got to be Thai rules. And he looked at me with his stare, and he went, Ben rules, all right? I said, just tell him Ben rules. I said, that'll do, Nigel, yeah, no problem. And he hit the guy so hard in the second round, a big left hook. Right, I'd never seen a knockout like it, and I've seen a lot of knockouts.
He was trying to knee Nigel, wasn't he? Nigel was coming with his arms crossed, and Brian Lynch was shouting out, wasn't he? Watch the knees, watch the knees.
He went up parallel in the air, didn't he, this guy?
Oh, mate.
He hit him with a big left hook, and he knocked him up. It was like he was hovering, like he was levitating. And then, boom, that was
I remember, I don't know what I should say this, memory came and said, got me 50 quid, Al.
Chasing you for 50 quid.
Oh, the guy.
Whoever it was.
Chasing you.
No, Nigel.
Nigel. Yeah.
He's fighting for £1 million like 5 years later or something.
Because what was funny, Richard, was I was the first one to pay the fighters £50 winner takes all.
That's right, yeah.
To try, and that really put us.
It was a long time ago, you know, right?
£50.
6 months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So all this talk about people training for this and training for that. What about people cross-training in the gyms now? So obviously you have a lot of people who perhaps box, K1, Muay Thai. Colin, I think you still have some guys doing like continuous, don't you?
Yeah, we still, as a grounding.
So you've got a big spread then.
Yeah.
So how do you feel that all goes in the gym?
With regards to the element, from my perspective, most of mine will start doing some form of light contact, but I would say they don't do it for long. I mean, in boxing they do gym shows, don't they? And I remember when I was boxing, we did a couple of gym shows, and then you boxed. And I kind of adopt the same policy now. Really, we do 2 or 3. They've got a bit of a ground, they've got some fitness, and then they can fight if you like. Without which is starting a whole new debate now, but I think too much light contact actually ruins the sport, if I'm honest.
Yeah. The thing is, I guess, if you get fighters into fighting like continuous as a mindset, then they're after landing lots of blows but not necessarily doing any damage.
You've also got to look at it.
It's different, isn't it?
When you run in the gym, you've got to look at. That sounds funny. You've got to look at the commercial aspect as well. Not everyone wants to get a broken nose and cauliflower ear. You know what I mean? So but they want to compete. They don't want to necessarily going to get. But saying that, light contact, you do get quite a lot of injuries, don't you?
Well, you do, yeah.
But
that's a contradiction, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But you've got to give people choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some people got jobs to go to.
Of course they have. They work in the city. They ain't going to come a big black eye, So it's not.
It's nice. It's nice to give. It's like Geoff said. If pick an example, the slightly older guy, wife and 2 kids, important job, works in the city. He's not going to want to have a sort of career that Reece has, but he will want to experience it. So he can have maybe he can have a little dabble, a couple of fights in the ring, and it's still a big achievement for him. It's all relative.
Yeah, he's had to feel what it's really like.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, I'm just guessing here, but I mean, I don't have such a high percentage of my students compete. I have a lot of students who just want to train. They enjoy training. They enjoy being part of martial arts generally. Yeah, of course.
I think we're all the same.
Yeah. And that's nice, isn't it? Nice that people can come train with the guys, especially when they have a fighter in their midst who's doing well. And train with him.
That's right.
On a Thursday, me and him, you know.
Yeah, I mean, our gym,
that's nice, isn't it?
I mean, I've always said this, our gym, whatever the class is comprised of, if there's 20 people in the class, we will set the class at the sort of highest person. So if there's 2 or 3 guys there that are competing quite soon, then the class will maybe be pitched for them, but the other guys will all follow through. Well, that makes them better.
Inspires it,
absolutely.
Yeah, it inspires them, it motivates them, and they can go home and say, I've just trained alongside a guy like Reece, and I've done the same amount of rounds as him, and I've really pushed myself. That's far better than setting it at the lowest common denominator, because all you end up is average.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I
think we're getting into the era now where we're all getting older and we've all been around quite a long while, and we've established whether it's
some of us are, some of us are still quite young.
Make them old.
I forgot what I was going to say now. Point I'm trying to make is, you know, whether it's us running the gym for the last 30 years, same with Colin, Adam does the IBA, which is 30 odd years in running. Starting with people like Nigel, you know what I mean? It's got such a history. You know, and this
can't buy it.
This isn't knocking the new people coming along, because everyone's got to start somewhere. But it's a what's the word? It's like a
well established.
It's a blueprint, isn't it?
Yeah. We've made a lot of mistakes, haven't we? But we've all
a lot of mistakes.
we've all
Still
learned
make
from
mistakes.
Classic thing, and I guess you guys must get it all the time. My students will say to me, "But you used to do this. I've seen a video of you doing that."
Yeah.
And you say, "Yeah, but the reason why I'm telling you not to do it is because the result wasn't good. You know, it didn't turn out well for me.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to encourage you to not make the mistake that I made by doing that thing." Yeah.
The other thing as well, of course, martial arts is, whether we like it or not, it's a fact. It's recreational now.
Absolutely.
All of us, yourself included, we started martial arts for the martial arts, and we stayed with it for the martial art. People now, they won't do that.
It's commercialised.
And they will want to do a bit of karate, kickboxing, judo the same way that they play snooker on a Friday night and watch football Saturday afternoon.
But that's one of the things that's annoying, isn't it? You got sometimes when you get like the new generation, not everyone, but a certain element of it, there's no respect, there's no etiquette, there's no. See, I still think it's good, like come back to the traditional martial arts, that you got that sort of. Not that you got to see your instructor in the street and go, "Sensei." I'm not saying that. I've seen it happen as well.
Yeah, lots of them.
I've been somewhere without naming names where someone's been standing there before a show in a bar, and the student comes in, "Us!" You think, come on, you know what I mean? You know, you're not, you know, get real. So you got people that live it too much, but you do need to have that respect. And I think a lot of these boxers these days, they're sort of bad mouth and half of them ain't no good anyway.
That like takes it to the street level, doesn't it?
Of course it does, yeah. A lot of our students say to us, "I was to see the boxing the other night." I go, "I'd rather watch paint dry. If it was in the park over there, I wouldn't go and watch it." I go, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, I'm going to name names here, by the way, of fighters, but to me, it ain't worth a cup of cold, you know what, because they've got no talent, they haven't got no decorum, they've got nothing in them now what they used to have before. You know, when you look at, not all of them, once again, not all of them, but a lot of it now, it seems to me there's a lot of good boxers about that don't get where they should be getting. But you've got certain boxers that haven't got the talent, they're suddenly up to the top.
You know why? It's all about what tickets they sell.
Yeah, exactly, you know.
I started the IBA off, and the upshot of it is now that I've lost so many fighters to the professionals, where there's fighters now that shouldn't hold a professional licence.
Definitely, yeah.
Because the thing about it is, it's because the promoters want to fill the small halls up.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about the big boxing promoters here, because, you know, they're filling up 80,000 people, but you're talking about the small hall promoters. So if I've got a good ticket, so I don't know about Colin and what have you, but what you'll see, what I actually saw, was all of a sudden they're now leaving to go over to the professional ranks. I counted a poster once that had 9 of my ex-IBA boys on, and they shouldn't have been on there because they had no amateur experience, okay? They had a daytime job, so they'd come and fight for me, and it sounds a bit like bad, what's name, at the start it was, and then I realised they want to go pro, but like Steve said, the actual skill level, when I was a professional trainer, I trained Mark Potter for 3 years. And I'll be honest with you, I come out of what I know, and I know how to train a fighter. I've trained hundreds of fighters, but I still didn't know how to train Mark Potter as a pro fighter, because pros used to fight different, right, Geoff?
That's right.
They look different. Yeah. And I couldn't get the mindset of why do they look different? And there were so many factors. But I went into the pro game and I learnt off the likes of Jimmy Tibbs and top trainers like that. But nowadays, it's completely the other way. I think it's real commercialised, the same as karate. Not knocking it, people have to earn a living. But you know now it is a big business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where before it was, you know, the traditional side of it.
Yeah.
It's like
Let's flip it for the positive. The fact is that the other massive change when we all started is we're in this great gym.
Yeah.
And this isn't unique. There are fortunately now good established professional gyms in a lot of towns. I mean, I think in the area that I teach in, I think I'm right in saying we've got 8 full-time martial arts academies teaching karate, taekwondo, kickboxing, etc.
Yeah.
The days of the leisure centre or the days of the community centre stroke school hall are kind of going, and that's got to be a good thing.
It is good.
So it brings, it does bring a positive to it.
People have to earn a living.
Yeah,
of course do. Yeah.
You know, and people don't want to literally, like Steve said, get a busted nose or a black eye. They just want to train, and nothing wrong with that.
The secret is to keep the integrity of what you do. That's the secret.
That's the thing, isn't it?
And Steve will be, no doubt, will be packed out with people tonight. There'll be Reece training there, but there'll be others training alongside. But they're doing it to the proper standard with the proper meaning, and that's the secret, I think.
Yeah.
All right, so good point from Colin. Just take us up to a nice break. If you have a gym and that you're running, that you'd love one of these shows to come from in the future, let us know, and maybe in the future we could be filming from your gym.